Hey guys, what's going to do back in the video, and today I'm going to be talking about how the Detroit Pistons could potentially be the next super team. Now, I know the title says super team, but mainly why I think Detroit's going to be kind of good going into the future, and what I think their future really holds. So I'm going to get into a lot of that in this video, why I think like they have a good duo going forward, how their stars are going to develop, how all the other players are going to develop, about their all-around roster. So if that does sound interesting to you, please hit the like button, subscribe button, and mean the absolute world to me, and please watch it all the way through. But without further ado, without rambling on too much, let's get right into this video. So the first thing I want to get into this video is going to be that they finally have their star duo, at least in my opinion. As we've all seen in this summer league, Jaden Ivey has been going absolutely insane. Now, although he probably is going to be sidelined for the rest of the summer league with that ankle injury, I'm sure everyone has seen enough. In the first 5 minutes of his last game, I'm pretty sure he had 11 points, a few assists, and he looked by far like the best player. And then also, we all know Cade Cunningham, last year's #1 overall pick. He is just as good. He had a very good rookie season. He's going to be a star as well. So assuming that both of them do become superstar level players, they have their star duo going forward, which is by far the hardest part to do when you're a small market team. Getting stars to come to you is very hard because you cannot sign them in free agency most of the time because they won't come there and they don't want to play for a small market team, or their agents won't allow it, and you can't really trade for them because the risk of trading for them means that they will just leave once their contract is up. So really the only way for a team like Detroit to get their star level players that they need to contend are through the draft, and that is exactly what it looks like Detroit has done, as Jaden Ivey looks like he is going to be a superstar point guard for years to come, and Cade Cunningham as well is going to be a star going forward as well. So if them two can develop and stay together and want to play in Detroit for a very long time, it could be very, very beneficial for Detroit because they might have finally accomplished the hardest part, which is getting the star talent to be able to put together a contending roster. And I think Jaden Ivey is going to be a very good player, probably a top 15, top 10 point guard for his entire career, and he could be even better than that. That's just the minimum ceiling I see for Jaden Ivey. I loved him in the draft, and I think he will be very good going forward. And really same for Cade Cunningham. Cade is just as good. He's very solid. He's probably going to be an all-star level player for pretty much his entire career. Going into year 2, I see Cade probably averaging around 20 points per game, about a few rebounds, a few assists, and Jaden Ivey's probably going to average about 18 to 20 points per game as well in his rookie season, because he is going to be the second option, or the second guy that the teams are going to worry about. So I think for sure that this team is going to be very, very good. And now some people might want to throw Jalen Duren in there as being a third star. I don't think Duren's ever going to be a star level player, but I do think he is going to be a very good center for them, and he's probably going to be kind of like a Dwight Howard type guy. Very good rim protector, very good rebounder, and he can do a great threat in the pick and roll due to his alley-oop potential and things like that. So I do think for sure that Jalen Duren could be a great complement to them, but as far as star talent goes, Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham is going to be who they build around for years and years to come. But now, even diving a little bit deeper into the Detroit Pistons as a team, their all-around roster is also very, very good. As you can look at their entire team from their starting 5 to their bench, they do have a very solid roster, which is not something you could say for Detroit teams in the past few seasons. As if you look at it, their starting 5 could look a little something like Cade Cunningham, who was the first overall pick just a year ago. He was very good. It's probably going to be an all-star level player this year. And then you also have Jaden Ivey, this year's, I think, 5th overall pick, who looks very good in the summer league. He's looking like everything you want to see from a future star and for your franchise point guard going forward. So I think you have those two stars. I already went over them a little bit, but then you even have Saddiq Bey, who is very underrated. He's a very good scorer. He improved a ton from his rookie season all the way to his second year, and then going into his third year, I expect just the same. I expect he's going to improve even more. He'll probably as well be a 20 point per game scorer, at least somewhere around there. And Saddiq Bey is just a very underrated offensive player, and also a solid 3-and-D player as well. And then at the power forward position, you have Marvin Bagley, who they just re-signed. And Marvin Bagley, although he didn't get up to the greatest start to his career with Sacramento, he did look much better with the Detroit Pistons, and he looks like he fits in a lot more. So hopefully we can see a little bit more of that Marvin Bagley, and if he can continue to be like that, a 15 point per game scorer, playing solid defense, just being a good athlete and everything like that, he could be a very solid power forward for them going forward. And he's also on the same timeline as them and just as young, so he could really fit in this Detroit Pistons almost perfectly right here. And then at the starting 5, you're either going to have Isaiah Stewart or Jalen Duren. I would probably start Isaiah Stewart to begin the year, but I think Jalen Duren is going to take that spot. So I'm just going to say Jalen Duren is going to be their starting 5. And I think for sure that would be very good because he's going to develop with Ivey, Cunningham, Saddiq Bey, and really everyone else that is young on this roster. And Jalen Duren could do a very good job developing him because with him, although not having much of a dribble threat or like really being that good of an offensive player, he's going to be able to lock down the paint with Marvin Bagley. He's going to be able to grab a lot of rebounds. And then those oop threats are going to be very good because Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey are very capable capable passers who are going to be able to get him the ball in the right situations. So Duren could really benefit a lot from playing with this starting five, and I think for sure he's going to add a whole nother dynamic to this team, because now you have Bagley and Duren. Both of those are huge lob threats anytime in the pick and roll. So their pick and roll game is going to be very, very good, because not only do they have those two huge lob threats, but they also have Cade Cunningham and Ivy and even Sadiq Bey, who can all three get their own buckets when they're in that situation as well. So I think for sure the pick and rolls are going to play a huge part going forward for the Detroit Pistons, and they're probably going to be one of the better pick and roll teams in the entire league going forward. And that is just their starting five. I think that even their bench has potential to be very, very solid, because if you look at it, their sixth man will probably be Isaiah Stewart, and Isaiah Stewart, although not a flashy player, he does all the dirty stuff you want him to do. He's very strong, grabs rebounds, boxes out, plays solid defense. He's just an all-around very solid player, and in the summer league, he's even shown flashes of expanding his range to the three-point line. And if he can get to where he can consistently shoot open threes and teams have to respect it, that is going to add a whole nother dynamic to this Detroit Pistons roster, because now you're going to have to worry about Isaiah Stewart from the three-point line, but he's also good in the paint. He can do everything else, and Stewart could develop into a very, very nice player, even better than he already has been to this point in his career. And then their seventh man is going to be Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes, although hasn't worked out thus far, at least on the offensive end, because he is a solid passer and solid defender, but he hasn't really been able to score that much. Hopefully Killian Hayes can still go out and develop how we want him to, because in the draft, Killian Hayes came out as a scorer who can score pretty much everywhere on the court. He shot very good from three before he got drafted. He could dribble everywhere. He could shoot from every point of the floor. So he does have that potential, and hopefully we can see that potential come through. Now that he has a little bit less a role and a little bit less pressure on him, maybe that'll give him the confidence to really go out there and play the game that we know he can play. And then you add on top of that other very nice role players like Corey Joseph, Nerlens Noel, Hamidou Diallo, Kelly Olynyk, and a few other players like that, and this team is very solid. Now, although I don't think this is going to be a playoff team year one, just because Ivy and Cunningham and Duren and all the other young guys need to have time to build chemistry and grow together, I think in probably 1 to 2 and maybe 3 years, this is going to be a very high-level playoff team, and they're going to be very, very difficult to beat, especially as they add even higher-end role players towards the end of their bench and make that bench even stronger than it is. And if Stewart and Killian Hayes are able to develop, this is going to be a very, very scary 7-man rotation, and I think for sure for years to come, this team is going to grow together, get better together, and they're just going to be very scary for tons and tons of years to come. But unfortunately, guys, that's my review. Comment below. Do you agree with me? Do you think that Detroit could be a super team? Do you think they're going to be very good? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think they'll make the playoffs? I really do want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And I hope you have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. So you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.